Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Almost 5 days after Hamas terrorists launched their horrific assault on Israel, there is a growing sense tonight this war is about to enter a new phase. Israel has been massing its troops and weapons on the border with the Gaza Strip, and there's widespread expectation that a ground invasion may begin soon. This comes as Israel prepares the way with an air assault on targets in Gaza. The casualties are mounting on both sides. At least 1,200 in Israel have been killed, while 1,100 in Gaza are dead. And the State Department said today the number of Americans killed has risen to 22. As the probability of an Israeli ground operation grows, there's increasing concern about the fate of hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza, as many as 150 of them, including some Americans. Tonight, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is headed to the region. He echoed President Biden in saying he will tell Israel's officials that the U.S. has Israel's back. And despite deep political fissures in Israel recently, today, political factions joining together, a show of solidarity in the face of war. Tonight, anticipation growing in this intensifying Mideast war. Terrified Israelis taking cover as rockets fall to earth. One striking this hospital. While Israel keeps up the pressure on Hamas in Gaza with an unrelenting bombing campaign. People there taking shelter in a crowded hallway during one bombardment. Israeli forces saying they hit over 200 targets today in just one neighborhood they call a nest for Hamas terrorists. And the pieces are now falling into place for a potential ground offensive. Israeli troops preparing to enter Gaza to topple Hamas leadership. While tonight at the White House, President Biden speaking to Jewish community leaders, talking about the scourge of anti-Semitism and why he took his children to see a concentration camp years ago.
I wanted them to see that you could not know what was going on.
And pressure growing on the president to take action on behalf of Americans who are among the estimated 150 men, women, and children kidnapped by Hamas terrorists who are threatening to execute their captives on camera.
Folks, there's a lot we're doing. A lot we're doing. I have not given up hope on bringing these folks home.
Tonight, the family of 17-year-old American Natalie Renan and her mother Judith fear they are among the hostages.
We want the U.S. to help us find its citizens, Judith and Natalie.
Saray Cohen and Tamar Leviton are Natalie's aunt and grandmother. Natalie just graduated high school in suburban Chicago. They were in touch with her as Hamas gunmen were outside their door. Were they on the phone or texting you?
They were texting us because the orders were that no one should speak. They should stay quiet so the Hamas will not hear them and try to take them hostage. The last text was from Natalie at 12:18 noon on Saturday, saying that they're hearing shooting out of their apartment. We love you all, but we are okay.
Later, Natalie's grandmother went to the apartment she and her mom were staying in.
The door to the backyard was broken. It's glass door, so they broke it, and I think from there they came into the house.
You've been feverishly making phone calls to Israeli and American officials. What have you been able to learn?
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
No one has a hint of where they are.
What do you want your sister and your niece to know right now?
I want them to know that we're doing everything in our power to bring them back. We do not forget them. We're very worried about them. We love you. And we want to hug you. And we want you back home.
In Gaza tonight, so many say they have nowhere to run as Israeli retaliation strikes flatten entire blocks. This woman at a hospital where two of her children are injured, saying her son is dead after their apartment was hit. They're just children. Why are they at fault? My children were playing in front of me. Suddenly, the ceiling collapsed, she said. Back in Israel, the first funerals were held for the hundreds of young Israeli concertgoers massacred by Hamas. And new images tonight showing the sheer brutality Hamas unleashed. This image posted by Israel's prime minister showing a child's bedroom covered in blood. And this video shows Hamas terrorists walking through an Israeli village after slaughtering people, their bodies in the streets. 25-year-old Liel Fishbein and his family were at a kibbutz when their horror began, cramped inside a roughly 9 by 12-foot shelter room like this one with his mother, 94-year-old grandmother, and her caretaker, and Hamas gunmen roaming their town. 4 of you and 2 dogs in this tiny room for 22 hours. Can you tell me what that was like?
I used the word, hell.
Eventually, Israeli soldiers rescued them. He showed us where he was shot as they all escaped.
When we walked toward the kibbutz gate, we were shot. And then I felt my hip was hurt. I dived into the ground with my mother. The soldier yelled, "Are you alive?" And I said yes.
His sister had been sheltering nearby, but they have not seen her since. She is among the missing. So your belief is she was kidnapped?
I feel it as her brother. I just feel it in my body. Yeah.
What gives you hope that you'll see your sister again?
I don't know. I'm not counting on I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we just don't know.
How are you doing as a family right now?
My mother is broken. My grandmother, she's starting to realize about my sister, what's happening exactly. I'm in pain for everyone and for everything here.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.